All right, the Utah Jazz get obliterated by the Houston Rockets. This is Hanson James. This is the SLC Dunk postgame show. That was about as bad a drumming as I can remember for the Utah Jazz. It was two things. You had the Houston Rockets, who came out and in that first quarter shot 80%, and the Utah Jazz came out and shot not 80%. They made that first three from Joe Ingles, and then from that point on, it was really bad. You have to give credit to the Houston Rockets. You knew they were going to come into this game. You knew they were going to play well, and they played really like they just absolutely obliterated the Jazz. But the Utah Jazz did themselves no favors. There were like 7 turnovers in that first quarter, and when you have a team like the Houston Rockets who came in and were just shooting lights out, and they were laser focused, they were hitting their threes, they were taking the shots they wanted to take, for the Jazz to go and have so many turnovers and take so many ill-advised shots and just waste so many possessions in that first quarter was really, really bad. The Houston Rockets, when they're playing like that, they can beat anybody and beat anybody pretty easily. Like, I don't know who beats the Rockets tonight when they were playing like they were. The Rockets were phenomenal. James Harden was distributing the ball like crazy, and you had Clint Capella, who just took it to Rudy Gobert. There were 3 players for the Jazz I just want to talk about. Honestly, like the Rockets, if you want Rockets analysis, they all played really well. Hit shots, defended incredibly well. There's your Rocket analysis, guys. I don't know what else to say. They just curb stomped the Jazz tonight. For the Jazz, you had I have not seen Rudy Gobert have that little of impact in a game, maybe ever. I've watched every single Rudy Gobert game he's played, and I even watched some of his D-League games when he played. I've never seen Rudy Gobert have that little of an impact on a game. And I don't know if it was scheme. I don't know if Rudy is following a game plan that tells him to do certain things and other players were not doing their part. And I have a sneaking suspicion there's a little of that. But there were also times where I'm just like, wondering where the contest is coming from Rudy. Like, honestly, I want to watch some of the post-game questions and see what is asked and see what the players say, because I don't know what's going on, but whatever it was, there's got to be some sort of scheme adjustment for the Jazz to affect this game with Rudy Gobert, because it feels like the Jazz are taking some of the things away from the Rockets in terms of like corner threes. But that Clint Capella matchup is just destroying Gobert, and I think part of it is that the Jazz need more from their perimeter defenders. You can't expect Rudy Gobert to be able to guard James Harden, who's the MVP, while also trying to protect the rim from Clint Capella, who is playing like all-star level center right now. Like, you can't expect Rudy Gobert to be effective and have to do that. If you're guarding James Harden, you've got to find a way to do something. And what the Jazz are kind of doing, and they've done effectively, it worked last game that actually got them the win, was they're getting Harden off the 3-point line, because game 1, Harden just killed the Jazz from 3. Last 2 games, they were able to kind of get Harden to the rim, and they got some nice things out of it, and Rudy was able to affect the game enough to win at the rim. Tonight, though, there was just nothing for it. Like, whatever the Rockets did it. And I think part of what's going on is that, like, whoever Rudy kind of steps back to kind of keep Capella from getting the alley-oop, and then tries to get that block at the last second. And honestly, he's getting held by it, and the refs aren't going to call it. And so the Jazz have to figure out a way to keep Capella or keep, Nene or Tucker, whoever it is, from getting to the rim when Harden's driving. Easier said than done. But that's what you got to do to win a playoff game. Plus, I just want to see a little bit more of a contest from Rudy. That was hard, This is how you win playoff games. Sometimes you've got to go above and beyond what you normally do. The Rockets did it tonight. They shot 80%. They don't normally shoot like that. You know, the game before, Joe Ingles shot 7 for 9. He doesn't normally shoot that well. So that's just what happens. Donovan Mitchell just did not have a good game, and he looked like a rookie. You know, I'm very grateful that he scored 8 points because I talked a lot of smack on Twitter. So good guy Donovan Mitchell made me not regret a lot of my tweets last night. Thank you for scoring at least 8 points. But Donovan Mitchell he's got to play point guard, but he's not there yet as a player because he's a rookie. You know, I think we've forgotten a little bit that Donovan Mitchell is a rookie. And so when Ricky Rubio is out, which was very apparent tonight, I mean, I think part of what was messing with the Jazz tonight, they just missed Ricky Rubio in a lot of ways, you know, because the Rockets made adjustments and Donovan just doesn't have the experience yet to be able to kind of overcome some of those things. He kind of has a few things that he does extremely well, and he was doing them tonight, and the Rockets game planned for it, and it didn't work. I did like that at one point Donovan drove and you know, passed it out to the corner three and made it. But we need more of that. If Donovan had a ton of those where he just goes to the rim and I don't know if that was what the offense was calling for, or if we broke the offense, if he just needed to kind of, I don't know. It just wasn't good, and a lot of things went really bad. I don't know. Like, here's the headline of the game. Things went very bad. That's your analysis. Joe Ingles also. So Rudy Gobert did not have a good game. Donovan Mitchell did not have a good game. Joe Ingles did not have a good game. Joe Ingles he had that opening three, but then he had just like these turnovers and passes, and he was not able to kind of run the pick and roll because the Rockets do their switching defense. And tonight the Jazz just looked so lost and so out of sync. And you've got to give credit to the Rockets defense, who do have a top 5 defense. You know, that's one thing that the Rockets are not given enough credit for is their defense is really good. And so the Jazz are going to have to make some adjustments. But, man, when you get beat this bad, I don't know. There's a lot of adjusting that needs to be done. Some of that adjusting means making your shots. And some of that adjusting is just going to be, you know, Quinn Snyder's going to have to come up with a Quinn Snyder special. If the Jazz can win next game, it's still 2-2. You never know. But, my goodness, the Rockets were good tonight. Colton Davis. Balls. Yep. Balls did not go in the hoop for the Jazz, but they did for the Rockets. Bill Hedrick turned it off about 5 minutes into the second quarter when dumpster fire was in full effect. Jazz looked like they could hardly dribble the ball. They looked really, I don't know. They just didn't look great. It just did not look like they had the energy necessary. They didn't look crisp. They didn't look, I don't know. The one guy that looked really, really good tonight was Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal had a great game. Like 17 points. He was hitting threes, and that's something to be excited about. If Royce can have a big game next game and hit threes and guard like he does, great. He also got under Harden's skin. Harden doesn't like Royce O'Neal. Royce is doing something well because Harden was mad. He was really mad, although he blew us out. So, anyways, guys, bad loss for the Jazz. Big win for the Rockets, who look like they're back on track, and not great for the Jazz. If the Rockets have kind of figured it out, you know, Jazz need to figure out a way to slow them down because, my goodness, tonight the Rockets they took off, pun intended. Anyways, like and subscribe this video, guys. Go to, if you're watching on Facebook Live, make sure you like and share this with your friends. If you're watching on SLC Dunk, make ssure you go and read everything else on SLC Dunk. This is the place to be for Jazz coverage and also post-game analysis, pre-game analysis, and downbeats. I'm Hanson James on Twitter. You can follow me on there. Just don't be a jerk. Jazz, come on. Let's win the next one. That's what I'd like to see the Jazz do. All right, talk to you later.